Hello, this is Dawn and welcome to Life Coaching on the Move podcast. If you're new to this podcast, I am so pleased that you're here. Welcome along. If you are one of my regular followers, welcome back. Today, I am going to talk about our philosophy of life. That sounds quite deep, doesn't it? I've realised as I heard myself say that. I don't mean to be too deep, but we often hear these phrases, don't we? Life say, yes, but life say, ... And I wonder what your philosophy on life is. Because I heard somebody the other day say, well, life's one long experiment. And I thought about that and it really struck me actually, because if it is one long experiment, that opens up all sorts of doors, doesn't it, to us, to our possibilities. Because if life is one long experiment, we're going to try new things. And we're not going to worry whether it works or not, because it's just an experiment. Now, why is this important as a coach? Well, it is important. It's not just important as a coach, but certainly as the client, certainly, well, to all of us, because I firmly believe from working with lots and lots of different people that our philosophy in life actually is almost the foundation or the underpinning of everything that we do, or at least every way that we react to what happens in our lives. So to back this up, let me give you two examples. Let's say there's a guy called Bob. And Bob's attitude or philosophy in life is that life's a battle or life's a battlefield. Whereas you also have the chap called Ken. And Ken's philosophy in life is that life is an adventure. So let's say that they both have very, very similar lives, very, very similar careers, jobs, do the same thing. They both have two children, one son, one daughter, married, the same age, etc. So really the only difference fundamentally between them here that we're looking at is their philosophy in life. Now, so both of them find themselves unexpectedly made redundant. Let's say they've been in the company that they're with for a good 15, 16 years. They're both, let's say they're both 45 to 50 years of age, been there for about 15 years, and unexpectedly, out of the blue, bearing in mind they've both got two children and a mortgage and a home and a wife and everything, they're both made redundant. How is Bob going to cope with that? What's his reaction going to be to that? And his response, do you think, when he believes fundamentally and says frequently, life's a battlefield? Whereas, how's Ken going to cope with it, who is a different kind of guy who believes that life's an adventure? Now, I suspect Ken is going to respond very differently to this than Bob. He may well turn it on its head. Okay, well, this is a door's open then. I've got some redundancy. What could I do with this? I could see this as an opportunity. It's a crossroads. I could perhaps go and do something I've always wanted to do now. Change career totally. Open some new doors. It's an adventure. Bring it on. Maybe I'll go travelling. Maybe I'll set up that pig farm down in the West Country, for example, or import wine as I've always wanted to do, and so on and so forth. This was a blessing in disguise. This is going to force me to do what I've always dreamt of doing. This is a positive. And if he doesn't think that straight away, I suspect with that philosophy in life, he will do very, very quickly once he picks himself up and brushes himself off and starts to get back out there. However, in contrast, Bob may well not pick himself up so soon at all. He may well stay stuck and negative. Bearing in mind his attitude in life is that life is a battlefield. He's unlikely to turn it on its head and see it as an opportunity and a crossroads and a chance to fulfill his dreams that he always wanted to do. He always wanted to be a writer or a painter or something like that. Let's also look at perhaps the example of they've both got teenage boys of, say, 16, 17, something like that. and their sons come home and announce that they've just got all their grades for all their GCSEs or exams or A-levels or whatever, and they've flunked them miserably. They've got no grades. They haven't got the grades for what they needed to go where they had planned. They failed all of it. And that they hadn't really, in truth, worked for them, let's say. How do both the parents, Bob and Ken, respond to this, let's say? How will they support their son? How will they react to their son with this news? I, again, feel that, and in looking at clients that I've worked with, definitely those that believe life's a box of chocolates or life's a playground or life's an adventure like Ken, they do respond better and react better to these sorts of scenarios, these negative, potentially viewed as negative, difficult scenarios. They bounce back sooner. They're perhaps more resilient. They see the bright side of things more easily, more naturally. Compared with someone like Bob who believes life's a bitch or life's a battle or life's a fight or life's a struggle, etc., etc. Let's say as well that both of them, both Bob and Ken, get a really rather grim diagnosis, health diagnosis, quite worrying treatment that they've got to go through. They're going to have a tough time ahead. Again, the question is, how are they going to both react and cope with this difficulty and this unknown future with their philosophy in life? Again, Ken may well pull through quicker, start seeing the positives of the treatment, the positives of the future, and getting a second chance, and the benefits of, the treatment and the doctors that they've experienced, and so on and so forth. So the purpose of today's podcast really is quite short, quite punchy, is to ask you, what is your philosophy in life? What is your belief life is about? What's the meaning of life? Life is a ... And you may not immediately know what it is. What do you say regularly? And you might want to ask people that are close to you, what have you said it is in the past? But what do you think? Do some soul searching. I think the key takeaway for this is first to establish what your belief is, what your philosophy is in life. Second, once you establish what that is, the overriding one, you may have several, but an overriding one. How does that help you? Or does it, in fact, hinder you? I love the idea of it being life is an experiment. And because I liked it so much, it really hooked in, really resonated with me. And I decided to actually give it a go. Actually say it in my head or out loud, in fact, for a good week. And so that whenever I was in an opportunity to say out loud, well, life's an experiment, I would and could. And it really, really does open some doors. Because if you do feel life's an experiment, I have found I'm much more likely to try new things, new foods, new reading material. I don't normally read sci-fi, for example. Well, life's an experiment. Let's give it a go. And loved it. New restaurants, new activities, new sports, talk to new people, go to new places, do new things, look at different websites that I wouldn't have sort of browsed through previously, different TV, different everything. Different clothes shops. It's just experimenting. And by opening that up, it feels like, A, it feels exciting. B, it takes away the pressure, because I know that if I try something new, read some new material, try something new with clients, or wear something different, or try a different approach in something or somewhere, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work, because I'm telling myself it's just an experiment. If it doesn't work and it doesn't pay, give the benefits that I'm hoping for, or the results and the outcomes that I'm hoping for, I put it down to experience or an experiment. That experiment didn't work. Hey ho, move on. So I'm not beating myself up. And in previous episodes, we've talked quite widely about how our mindset and our mind and our thoughts can sometimes hold us back. They can sometimes sort of beat us up, self-sabotage, We overthink, we overanalyze, and it drags us down with negativity. But with the view that life is just an experiment, I'm not doing that, because I'm not seeing myself as a failure if it didn't work talking to that new type of person, or going to that new restaurant, or that new a different film or a different book. It doesn't matter. I tried it. I tried sci-fi, not so keen. I don't beat myself up. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of energy. I haven't failed. And that is the word that I hate when clients use, I failed. What if I fail? And so on. Now I can say to clients, what if you fail? Well, what if it were just an experiment? That doesn't sound so bad, does it? It doesn't sound like you're setting yourself up for such high expectations and fear such negative outcomes, because if it fails, I failed. No, you haven't. It's not you, it's the experiment. Equally, on the other side of it, if it goes well, that experimental approach to that type of food, or I'll try this type, I've never been to this restaurant before and eaten this sort of area of the world's food type, and if you don't like it, then great. If you do, though, if the result of the experiment is good, you have brought new stuff into your life. You've broadened your horizons. You've changed and brought new into your life. So that can only be a plus. So I love this philosophy in life. It takes the pressure off us. It's positive. It's welcoming. It's embracing. It's exciting. So my key takeaway for you is give it a go. Or if it's not life's an experiment, life's an adventure. Similar, really. Try the adventure. But I think the experimental side of it takes away the pressure of it not working, and not seeing yourself related to that, just it being an experiment. So if you want to join me on this, I'm going to continue doing this, continue trying it, and continue this as a philosophy. I've always said on these podcasts, awareness is half the battle. So I think if nothing else, become aware of what your philosophy in life is. Are you a Bob? Or are you a Ken? Or are you something else? Is it positive and helpful? Is it actually holding you back and hindering you a little bit, maybe like Bob? And could you change it? And don't forget, we've talked about this in previous episodes, you don't have to initially believe it. You just have to tell your subconscious it. You just have to keep saying it, keep repeating it. And that's how we change our habits. That's how we change our thought patterns. So if it's a negative thought pattern, we can change it. It's not set in stone. You weren't born with that belief in about life, or a philosophy about life. It's not preset or pre-programmed. We can change it at any point, just as we can change any of our thoughts and our habits and our patterns. Just being aware of them is half the progress. Then deciding how we'd like them to be instead, and then working towards it is the rest of it, is the rest of the route or the method of changing it. So what's your philosophy in life? Is it working for you? Could it be better? Perhaps join me on my experimental approach to life and share your experiences. Please drop me a line. I love hearing from you. I love hearing your successes, perhaps the odd challenge along the way, and your learnings. So I'm at Dawn at milestone-coaching.co.uk. Drop me a line. If there are any topics, by the way, that you would like me to cover in the future, then also drop me a line about that. And if you want to check out the website, which is at www.milestone-coaching.co.uk, there is loads on there. There are past episodes of the podcast. There's the free blog, if you want to look at some of the blog posts. I put up dates for free workshops. If you are local to the area of Hampshire, come along to either stress management workshops I run at different intervals, or confidence building workshops, and occasionally goal setting workshops and various other things. So have a little look at the website if you want to. If you would like a coaching session with me, it doesn't matter where you are based, and geography is not an issue. I can do Skype, FaceTime, preferably, actually. My Skype is playing up. FaceTime and phone coaching, or one-to-one coaching if you're in Hampshire. You're completely in charge of how many sessions. It can be just one for the boost that you want, or the topic that you want to focus on, or it could be a little bit deeper if you prefer, but you are totally in the driving seat of that anyway. So give me an email or visit the website. There's also articles on there, tips and techniques and so on. If not, I really, really hope you come back next week to follow the next week's episode. And I will see you there. Have a great, strong week and enjoy your experiments.